The Heiser Hearing Institute does so many different things, so we're going to break it down a little bit for you. With me now is the CEO, Brett Bachmann, who rejoins me once again. Brett, always good to see you. I don't think it's too early. Can I say happy holidays? Can I do that?
Absolutely. In fact, we were doing Christmas decorations already at my wife's house in North Carolina.
My goodness.
The tree's up. I mean, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but she's a Christmas file. I mean, the Hallmark Channel, she watches all those shows, all that other stuff, so she's excited. It's
I'm
awesome.
impressed with you, so you help out with that, huh?
Well, the game was on too, so I did some of it. In fact, I lifted my daughter up so she could put the star on. That's about the extent of my talent when it comes to that.
That's good. It's kind of like the abominable snow monster.
Well, no matter where I put the ornament, it's always in the wrong place. So
I'm with you. Believe me, I'm guilty as well. I talked about the Heiser Hearing Institute and all the things that you've accomplished. I think, first of all, we have to point out history. Okay. So the history is very rich here. You've got to be very proud of that, and that's why a lot of people are familiar with the Heiser Hearing Institute.
Well, yeah, I mean, starting in 1948, that's a long time, and you know, we've just grown so much. We serve now 56 counties in the state of Kentucky, and so there are people that drive hours so that they could come here and get treated and get the specific areas that we work on, and it's just been amazing to see the growth over the last 10 years, even expand past that to even through the pandemic. When we stayed open, we did a statewide 800 number for people who are having difficulty with their hearing devices anywhere in the state, because we determined how important it was for them to be able to utilize hearing for their telehealth needs. And so we got a lot of calls when that happened, and whether they were a patient or not, we helped them with their technology. So it's just really continued to grow.
So we've talked about the history on this side of it, and now the other side of it is this, this technology, state-of-the-art technology, so that all of us, including you that's watching now, you get the very, very best in hearing health. So talk a little bit about that, because I mean, you are known around the country for being, some of the technologies that you use are unknown in other parts of the world. So let's talk about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do work with several of our manufacturers of hearing devices, but we utilize the full breadth of everything from cochlear implants to, we have subscription-based hearing devices that will go into the ear and stay in for a couple months at a time, and they get changed out. Nobody knows you have them. You and I have talked significantly about those. I think that, the fact that we also do research and development with some of the largest hearing aid manufacturers in the world, utilize our unique patient population, because we serve everybody from, let's say, twinkle to wrinkle, the full lifespan. And because of that patient base, we have a unique opportunity to research and kind of figure out what the best and worst of hearing devices. And, and it's just expanding. I mean, the technology moves so fast, you have to be able to be agile to move with it.
Yeah, you service all ages, and I love the fact you said twinkle to wrinkle. What I don't like about that is I'm on the wrinkle side of the equation, so that kind of hurts.
I don't know about that. Your face hasn't changed.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
Oh, he's good.
We talk about this all the time. I'm just saying, I get these lines that are coming up here.
I got plenty, believe me. Let's talk about philanthropy too, because I think it's nice to go into a place and you're not only getting state-of-the-art service and people that have a rich history, but someone who cares about the community in which they work in. So talk about how that's important to you.
Well, like we started in 1948, taking care of all these kids that are born deaf and hard of hearing, and making sure that their early intervention works. And in fact, we've partnered with Jefferson County Public Schools for the last, since 1970, so we're going on 50+ years that we've been partners with them, and so that all kids go there free, and we add on extra services so those kids get like maximum education and service from 0 to 6, which is super important. And when we developed our clinic, it was to add to that longevity of us being able to treat all those students, but also we realized that there were many in the Louisville area, and now we know in the rest of the state, that can't get access to hearing health care. And so that's why we started the clinical aspect, and that's just continued to grow. And the revenues that are generated from that go into our programs like our Listen Up program, where we give hearing aids and First Steps, and going in to help fund the school and add all these extra services for these kids so that they can really find their feet and education, whether it's sign or oral or a mixture of the two. We work with the parents on what they want to really do, and then when we're doing the hearing devices and prescriptions and both balance and vestibular, as you can tell, we've got a lot going on. We always work with the families and make sure that what we're doing for the grandparents is right for them. And we have some people come in and get the hearing test, which we recommended everybody should have a hearing test, just like you go and get your annual check when you get to a certain age. I think right now they're recommending around 50, just so that there's a baseline, so that you know what your hearing is like. A lot of times people come in, they don't need any prescriptive devices. Our doctors look at them and say, look, your hearing's fine, it's just the way it is, and but come back in a couple years, or come back in a year. If you're exposed to loud noises, come back and we'll take a look at it, because what we want to make sure is that hearing loss is treated. It's a chronic issue, just like anything else, and the longer you let it not be treated, the more likely you're going to have a lot of comorbidities that can be caused by that or linked to not treating the hearing loss.
That's the next element I want to talk about. You place a great deal of importance on education. You've educated me quite a bit, and it makes perfect sense, the link between hearing and mental acuity, especially as we get older. It definitely exists. There's studies that prove it exists. So if you've been kind of procrastinating, don't do that, right? Don't.
At least make a knowledgeable decision. Once you know you have hearing loss, now you're making a decision versus I think I have hearing loss and I'll fix it when I can. I'd rather have you an educated decision to say, hey, I don't have hearing loss, or I do have hearing loss, but I just can't quite bring myself to get hearing aids yet, or because of that stigma that's attached to them. But it's just like anything else that you have. When you go and use sports, people wear knee braces. Well, that's because your knee starts to break down over time, and so you're wearing a knee brace. The hearing device is nothing different than that. It's the same kind of thing. You're just augmenting because we're living longer, and you want to live longer at a better quality of life and not miss out on what your grandkids are saying during the holidays.
Well, you said that perfectly. I think everyone can understand why it's important right now, because here comes the new year. You're doing an assessment of yourself. You're saying, you know what, I'm going to have my hearing checked, and I'm going to live that abundant life that you're talking about. So making an appointment. Go online. Do they call the number? What's the way to do
all
this?
All of it. So we've got online, call the number, email me, all those other things. The greatest thing you can do is at least get your stuff tested, and then there's many different options when it comes to prescriptive devices. We take all insurances. We take, we have different programs. We have financing programs, all of that, because it can be an expensive outlay if you don't have any coverage. And so we try and work with that and give you some long-term payoff plans. If you think about it, though, if you're buying something and it's going to last you, 3 to 5 years, well, yes, the upfront cost may be expensive, and we can spread that out over 3 to 5 years, and all you're doing is investing in your health. I mean, it's no more than a gym membership in some of the higher-end gym memberships.
There we go. So from twinkle to wrinkle, it's the Heiser Hearing Institute. Brett, thank you for sharing the information.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right. Coming back here, Don G will join me.